Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Denise would like to introduce you to Ejiro Aquabiocopini. I apologise if I've mispronounced that. And he prefers to be known as Scott Willames. Hello, he said. Hi, said Denise. I've been out all afternoon. I just got home. OK, he said. How are you doing today? I went to visit a friend. She said we got talking and didn't realise how late it was. Oh, he said. Where are you from? I live in Guildford, she said. It's in the south of England. Where do you live? Wow, he said. I hope that's a nice place. I'm from Houston, Texas, but work in Vienna, Austria. How lovely, said Denise. I've always wanted to go to Vienna. What do you do there? I work there, he said. What is your relationship status? I hope you don't mind. That's right, mate. Just jump right in, why don't you? I know you work there, said Denise. You said that. What do you do? I work there, he said, and stay there for work. But I normally live in Houston, Texas. And this is going well, isn't it? OK, said Denise, for the third time. What do you do? I know what I used to do at work. I'm an independent shipwright, he said. We can build ships and construct ships. In Vienna? Asked Denise. And I know I joke about the geographically challenged scammers we get on here. Well, this is another one. You're going to love this guy. In Vienna? She asked. Yes, he said. OK, she said. Sounds very specialised. Yes, he said. I love my work. What do you do for a living? I'm retired, she said. I was an accountant. What kind of ships do you build? We deal on refurbishing of damaged and abandoned vessels. And pipe fitters. What's a pipe fitter? Asked Denise. We fitter dirty from oil, he said. I don't know what that means, said Denise. We fitter dirty from oil and construct pipe so that we can use it. I've no idea what that means, said Denise. Is it a type of ship? Don't worry, he said. I will explain for you. I very much doubt it. OK, said Denise. What do you do for a living? He asked, trying to change the subject. I told you, said Denise. Sorry, he said. What is your relationship status? I hope you don't mind. I'm a widow, she said. My Albie died 5 years ago. You were going to explain what you do. OK, he said. I'm a widower with one beautiful daughter of mine. I lost my wife in 2015. You're supposed to be explaining what you do, said Denise. We can repair ships and construct ships. We can fitter pipes. Do you understand now? I don't know what fitter pipes means, said Denise. No, I don't understand. What have pipes got to do with building ships? The water supplies for the ship, he said. OK, said Denise. A ship's plumber. Yes, he said. Do you understand now? Possibly, said Denise. But why were you talking about oil? Yes, I can also fitter oil, he said. I don't know what fitter oil means, said Denise, and I'm getting very tired of asking you. I'm getting tired too, he said. I know you fit pipes, she said, but why would anyone fit oil? From dirty, he said. Why would you fit dirty oil into a ship? She asked. No, he said. I fitter oil, like crude oil. Why'd you fit crude oil on a ship? She said. I thought you were a shipbuilder. So that it can be properly used, he said. What on earth does that have to do with shipbuilding? Asked Denise. Yes, that's still part of my work, he said. So you have 2 jobs, or is it 3? No, 1, he said. You build ships, you're a plumber, and do this magical thing called fitting crude oil. Yes, he said. So fitting crude oil is part of shipbuilding. Yes, he said. Without oil, how will the ship move? Let's say something else. Oh, you use crude oil for that, do you? Said Denise. Silly me. I assumed they used diesel. Yes, the both, he said. Why on earth didn't you just say so? Said Denise. This is getting so tedious. Because you're still going to ask me more questions, he said. I love that. Oh, FGS, said Denise. Oh, no. Next question you ask me, I'll make you ask it 4 times before I give you a sensible answer. And fair warning, ladies and gentlemen, if you're eating or drinking, Please swallow now. Oh, you're so funny, he said. We'll see how funny you think it is, said Denise. OK, he said. Where do you love going to during the weekend? To which Denise replied, watermeloning the thing cycle. OK, he said, kind of getting the point. Can I have your Gmail so that we can talk on Google Hangout? I hope you don't mind. Actions, said Denise, are the epicentre of something. I don't understand what you mean, he said. The epicentre of some things are actions, repeated Denise. I hope you understand me now. Yes, he said. Are you going to do it? Yes or no? Randomness is underpinning of subsistence altitude, said Denise. OK, he said. You don't want. Tell me, yes or no? OK, yes, said Denise. I assume you can count to 4. That was the 4th time you asked. And so they moved to Hangouts. Over on Hangouts, Denise asked him, what kind of ship are you working on right now? I'm working on a cargo ship, he said. How long will it take? Asked Denise. Here, he said, is a little about my job. I am a 2-degree holder, as I attained BA in engineering, and I became employed by the Independent Shipwrights Company, Montrose Field, North Sea, United Kingdom, as a supervisor. So generally, I'm working with them for here, but right now I am awarded a private contract in the reconstruction of ship, in brackets and in uppercase letters, middle of the sea. It is a 5 months contract job, and I have workers working with me on this contract. I work 3, in brackets, weeks with my workers, and spend 2, in brackets, weeks home resting. This is my last month for rounding up my contract. I work only on contract basis. I love and respect my job. I think it is a great job, and I really like the adventure on it, although it's a very risky and dangerous job. But God always shows his mercy towards me and sees me through. What do you mean? Reconstruction of ship? Then in brackets and uppercase letters, middle of the sea. I work underwater, welding and repairing of ships, he said. And before we go any further, I'm just going to show you a little map of the location of Vienna. Google Maps tells me Vienna is approximately 480 kilometres from the sea. Denise thought she'd finally cracked it. OK, she said, so you work underwater in a shipyard in Vienna, repairing ships and doing a bit of plumbing. Sounds very dangerous. Yes, he said, it's so dangerous and adventurous. What will you do when you've finished the ship you're working on? She asked. My goals and dreams in life is to have a complete family with a loving and caring woman by my side, having a registered company of my own that will deal into buying and selling of industrial FPSO materials to offshore and onshore fabrication companies. That doesn't tell me what you're going to work on after you finish this ship, said Denise. Do you have another one waiting to be refurbished? And what are FPSO materials? I've never heard of them. Apparently neither had our man either. A floating production, storage and offloading unit is a floating vessel used by the offshore oil and gas industry for the production and processing of hydrocarbons and for the storage of oil. OK, said Denise. I've never heard of it. Sounds like an ambitious project. What kind of materials are you talking about? Barges and tugboats, he said, proving that he didn't know the difference between the vessels and the materials that they carry. What are you doing now? OK, said Denise. I'm screaming at the banshee under the sofa. What are you doing? Fixing some food for dinner tonight, he said. What did you have for dinner? Food, said Denise. Same as you're having. Where do you live while you're working on this contract? I guess you rent a house or an apartment. No, he said. I live inside the ship. It's called a cabin. Is it safe to live on a ship when it's being refurbished? Asked Denise. Yes, he said. It's OK and safe. That's good, said Denise. What are your hobbies? He asked. I like my puzzle books. I knit for my grandchildren. I like my garden. What are yours? That's nice, he said. Well, I have lots of stuff that I enjoy doing as hobbies, so you can either catch me cooking, reading, swimming, walking along the beach, painting, playing checkers, scrabbling. I love the outdoors, mountain biking, camping, fishing, horseback riding, outdoor or indoor photography, like going to concerts, cinemas, and seeing good comedies. Not sure how he finds time to get any work done. What's your religion? Goodness, said Denise. How do you have time for all those? I'm a Ninth-day Adventist. What are you? I think it's time I invented another religion, isn't it, folk? My mum had me baptised in Pentecostal church, but she was good Christian, and my father just believed in God. Let's say that I've been a searcher for the truth between heaven and earth since I was young, so I had to study very deeply all religions. Nowadays, I say that all religions are good, but we interpret it to every one like we want, and I believe in some superior power. You can call God, universe, power of mind, anything you want. I believe that we're not alone. We're not the only planet that has life. OK, said Denise. What kind of concerts do you go to? Elena and the Dices, he said. Never heard of them. America Got Talent, etc. So, tell me, how big is your family? I mean, how many brothers and sisters you have? What about your parents? I'm 76, darling, said Denise. My parents died years ago. I had a brother, but he's also dead. My mother would be 103, and my father would be 111. I'm really sorry for all your loss, he said. Do you have kids? I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren, said Denise. I'm a very lucky lady. Tell me about your family. My family is not a big family, he said. I would like to tell you about my whole family too. I guess it's somewhat interesting to hear. I don't have so many to say. I was born into a Christian home and have been born again. I thought he just told us he wasn't a Christian. I've lost the plot. The scriptural passage in the Bible that I love most is that of John 8.51, which says that verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. I have a few things that I am passionate about. First, I am very passionate about my faith in God, which he's told us he wasn't. That comes before anything else in my life. I love music and poetry and being with family. You said you were going to tell me about your family, said Denise. I'm a widow, he said. I have a daughter, and I've managed to fight life as it may be, with the fact of losing my wife for the past years, but I thought I wasn't giving myself the best chance of coming into my life any more, so I started searching, because I want to take out time to find someone that has a very good and a dry sense of humour, someone trustworthy, and has the fear of God. You said you were going to tell me about my whole family, said Denise, and I see no reason to be afraid of God. Although my parents are dead, he continued, I was the only kid that they had. Lost my dad January 1980 and my mum June 2003. Due to the fact that my parents brought me up not knowing any of their parents or relatives, they told me that they had issues with their family not giving approval of their marriage or even supported them at that time. They both wanted to get married. That was sad, said Denise. And that was followed, inevitably, by, send me a pic of you. If you give me your address, I'll post you one, said Denise. Send it on here, he said. I can't, darling, said Denise. There isn't a slot to put it in. I have one of them digital cameras. My grandson Benji prints my photos for me. Oh, I see, he said. Well, occasionally you find a scammer that gets it. And that was followed by another scammer favourite. How often do you like to go out? I mean, going partying? What on earth are you talking about? Said Denise. How old are you? I'm 58 years old, he said. How often do you go partying? Asked Denise. I do not go out partying often that much ever since I lost my late wife, because going out alone seems not enjoyable to me. So whenever I'm in town alone back there at my home in Houston, Texas, it gets boring when I'm the only one cooking for myself at home, so I always take a drive around the city, having a taste of the restaurants around. There is a nice Italian restaurant not too far from where I live, and they call it Pecorino Restaurant Italian Kitchen. I love their pasta and they cook well. I'll be looking forward to go out with that special lady and eating her meals some day. Any chance of typing that in English? Said Denise. OK, I will give a sec, he said. What do you want me to write in English? What you just said, replied Denise. The next 2 days passed with our scammer asking boring questions and talking meaningless drivel. And then on the Sunday, he said, "Good morning." "Good morning," said Denise. "I'm just having a nice cup of tea." "OK," he said. "I've taken my coffee." "It's a lovely sunny morning here," said Denise. "I think I'm going to go for a walk." "OK," he said. "Do you have a pet?" "No," said Denise. "Do you have a pet? That's a very random question." "Yeah, I have one dog," he said. "On a ship that's being repaired?" "No," he said. "At home in Houston, Texas." "Oh, OK," said Denise. "Guess you don't get to see it very often. Does someone look after your house for you?" "Yes," he said. "A nanny." "A nanny? For a dog? What kind of dog is he or she?" "A male Shih Tzu," he said. "That is my dog breed." "Oh," said Denise. "Is he cute? Why'd you have a nanny to look after a dog?" "Yes, very cute," he said, "so that he will be healthy and strong." And remember that for later in the video, he has a nanny to look after his dog in his house. "How often do you get to see him?" asked Denise. "I don't see him. I hear from him," he said. "Before I see him, I need to finish my contract." Full scammer mode then took over. "What is your favourite colour?" asked our man. "Purple pomponium," said Denise. "What's yours?" "That's nice," he said. "Mine is blue and white." "That's two colours," said Denise. "Yes," he said. "Can I ask you a question?" "Well, nothing's stopped you so far, mate." "What are your likes and dislikes?" he asked. "I like Handel's Dettingham Te Deum," she said, and I have no idea where that came from. I last sang that, probably conservative estimate, about 35 years ago. "I dislike rose-coloured apple pies," she said. "I like real things," he said. "I like honesty, truthful and caring person. I dislike anything having to do with dramas, deceit, cheating, lies, disrespect and racism, quarrelling and argument, because all that turns me off. I just want someone that will love me for me, regardless of age, distance, language barrier, cultural differences and all that, because I do believe love knows no barriers and is the conqueror of it all and all things." "I agree," said Denise. "I dislike lies and deceit." "OK, me too," said our unsuspecting scammer. "What's your favourite food?" he asked. "Are you working your way down a list of pointless questions?" asked Denise. "I like percolated sausage rolettes. What do you like?" "Yes, I need to work till I finish my contract," he said. "Where are you working today?" she asked. "My favourite food is pasta and fried chicken," he said. "I love to cook. Great homemade." "No, dear, I was sorting out some documents." "I want us to know each other very well," he said. "That is why I'm asking you some question. I hope you don't mind." "I'm not sure how knowing my favourite colour helps you with that," said Denise. "Does OK mean there is a round Vienna sightseeing bus?" She'd asked him if he'd done any sightseeing, and he said no, he hadn't, so she suggested that he should see if there was a round Vienna sightseeing bus. "Sorry, yes," he said. "You should buy a ticket for it one day," said Denise. "I'm sure it would be very interesting, especially if they have a commentary." And then she added in brackets, "Cue random question." "OK, thanks for that," he said. Followed by, "What are your hobbies?" "See, I was right," said Denise. "I like endurance large needle knitting, deep-throated warbling, and my puzzle books. What are yours?" "Right, for what?" he said. "That you were about to ask me a random question. What are your hobbies?" "I have a lot of stuffs that I enjoy doing as hobbies, so you can either catch me cooking, reading, swimming, walking along the beach, painting, playing checkers, scrabbling. I love the outdoors. Can you please show me a picture of you?" "Do you plan to ask me the same questions every day?" said Denise. "No," said our man. "OK," said Denise. "So shall we stop at twice?" "OK," he said. "Can you show me a beautiful picture of you?" And right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the emotional blackmail that these scammers use to get you to send them your photos. They don't always just say, "Can you send me a pic?" He said, "Can you show me a beautiful picture of you?" "Read what I told you yesterday to save repetition," said Denise. "OK, don't worry about it," he said. "I assume that means you won't give me your address." "No, I said don't worry for the picture. Then Denise decided to take him completely off script and ask him some completely different questions. OK, she said, I'm thinking of buying a new sofa. My old one has gone lumpy. Do you have any suggestions? I can't decide whether to buy dark grey, which will match anything, or to get a colour, green or dark pink. I don't know what to do. Floundering, all our man could reply was, yes, you need to get a new one. I don't know how he knew that. He hasn't seen her old one. I know that, said Denise. That doesn't help. I might need a new cooker soon. You said you loved to cook. Would you suggest a gas one, an electric one, or a mixture? I could get a gas hob and an electric oven, or a gas oven and an electric hob, or an all-in-one. Should I get a double oven, or an oven and a grill? You know, the sort of advice you might ask someone who's told you that they love to cook. Showing his extensive kitchen prowess, our man replied, You can get an electric one. Why'd you prefer that? Asked Denise. You can get all-in-one, he said. Why'd you say that? Asked Denise. That will be good for you, he said. Yes, but I need to know why you say that, asked Denise. Have you used both? No, he said. I know of a friend who used it. Oh, said Denise, so you don't really know what I should get. Your friend used electric or gas? Electric, he said. So you've used gas? She asked. So fast, he said. You've always used gas? Yes, I don't have money for electric now, he said. What? Said Denise. You can afford to pay a nanny to look after a dog, but you can't afford an electric cooker. I don't think you cook at all, do you? She said. You added that to your hobbies to try to sound impressive. No, he said. I want you to use an electric cooker because it's fast and nice for dishing your food, and you don't need to fill any bottle with gas because it is electric. What on earth are you talking about? Said Denise. Filling any bottle? We have gas, just like you do in Houston. I live in a town, not in the middle of nowhere in the country without a gas supply, which is exactly where I live. I don't have gas. My next-door neighbours have bottled gas. That's what I'm telling you about, he said. So you don't have a gas bottle where the gas is stored. Don't be ridiculous, said Denise. We have gas, like you do in Houston. You know, supplied the same way as yours. In Houston. She didn't like to tell him. It was much more fun not to. You mean you don't have a gas cylinder, he asked. Where you store your gas? Our gas is supplied the same way as yours is, in Houston, she said. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. You never cooked in your life, have you? You just eat ready meals, and you wouldn't know a gas cooker if it landed on your head and brained you. I'm off to bed. Good night. A couple more days of random silliness later, and our man said that his contract was due to finish in the next few days. What will you do in Houston? Asked Denise. I'm going to meet my daughter, he said. That'll be nice for you both. You won't be working. For now, he said. Before I go, I need to finish my contract. It'll be nice to have a break for a while, said Denise. He sent 2 photos of a little girl. As I've said before, if you're posting photos of your children online, please think very carefully about where you post them. This is my daughter, he said. How old is she? Asked Denise. She's 5 years old, he said. Does she live with her mother? Asked Denise. No, he said. Her mother is dead. She lives with her aunt in Houston. Remember, the nanny that he employs to look after his dog, while his daughter lives with her aunt. Oh, I'm sorry, said Denise. Of course you told me that. She died 6 years ago. Yes, he said. Apparently the grasp of even basic maths, really basic, like 6 being larger than 5, was beyond him. When do you think you'll be able to go home? Asked Denise. I don't know now, till I finish my contract, he said. If it's a contract, you must know when it finishes. Yes, next week, Tuesday, he said. Not long then, said Denise. You must be so excited to get home to your daughter. Yes, very, he said. But there is a problem. Oh dear, we thought there might be, didn't we, ladies and gentlemen? Or as Denise put it, oh dear, why is there a problem? And if you can work out any even basic logic in his reply, you get a special gold star. But then again, this is the chap that doesn't know that 6 is larger than 5. I need to submit some document and my retirement document to the company yesterday. I taught my Apple desktop, still have card to send it to the company. I tried it several times. When I checked the Apple balance, nothing was inside. I need to send the document ASAP before the day run out today. Oh dear, said Denise. I have no idea what you're talking about. Without my retirement document, I can't start my contract. Start it, said Denise. So he sent her a photo of a fake airline boarding pass. We'll come back to that later. I don't have some Apple card to send it to the company, he said. Look at my contract, my dear. That's your contract? Asked Denise. So he tried again and sent her this contract. And before I read it out to you, let's just recap. I think our man told Denise that he'd been in Vienna for 5 months, repairing ships. This contract says Contract Award Certificate. This is to certify that Independent Shipwright Vienna, Austria, has this days, on December the 20th, 2021, award a contract to build and design a ship for the Independent Shipwright. December the 20th was just over a month ago. Contract period, 1 year. Contract value, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, $22 million. That first one is my visa, he said. Your visa? Asked Denise. Remember that fake airline boarding pass? Yes, the first one, he said. Your contract tells me your 5-month contract lasts 1 year, so you can't go home for another 7 months, said Denise. The second one is my contract of $22 million, he said. Which lasts for a year, said Denise. So you've got to stay where you are for another 7 months. And you aren't building and designing a ship, you're repairing one. Did you forget what you're doing? Or is that someone else's contract, not yours? No, it's mine, he said. I'm an independent shipwright. I told you, we can build ships and repair. You told me you were repairing one, said Denise. I need some Apple card to send my retirement document to the company. Can you get for me, please? If I send my retirement document, I will start my contract. I have no idea what he was talking about, and I missed out a few lines where he told Denise he needed the document to start his contract, and she told him that he'd said he was retiring. And then finally she just got fed up with him. Okay, she said. Thanks for understanding, he said. I will wait for you. And then a couple of hours later, have you gotten it, my dear? Got what? Asked Denise. The Apple card, he said. I think you said you'll help me buy the card. Granny Smith, Brayburn, Golden Delicious, said Denise. I mean, Apple card, he said. What kind of apple? Asked Denise. Bramley, Cox, Pink Lady. Wait, he said. Let me show you a picture of it. Do you know it, my dear? Are you seeing the pictures? Talk to me, please. And he resent the photo of the iTunes card. And just like that, Denise disappeared. Earlier, I said we'd have another look at that fake airline boarding pass. I showed it to some fellow scam baiters who tell me that it comes from a website where you can generate fake boarding passes, a bit like the website I sometimes use, where you can generate a fake MoneyGram receipt. Of course, the end product is only as good as the information the scammer puts in. We know our man had no idea. It claims to be for Austrian Airlines, and very clearly at the bottom left it says boarding pass. That's how I knew it was a boarding pass, not a visa. Our man claims to have flown from Vienna in Austria to Houston in Texas on the 20th of December, despite claiming that he'd been in Vienna for 5 months. This is another clue that you're talking to a scammer. If the person that you're talking to online is very insistent on showing you airline tickets, visas, contract documents especially, it's pretty guaranteed that you're talking to a scammer. No genuine person would share that kind of information with anyone that wasn't their close family. In fact, the more insistent that someone is on sending you documents to show you proof that they're not lying, the more likely it is that they are lying. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.